Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. Today, this conversation I think will split the fan base. I think it will split people's opinions, and I'm here to give my side of the argument. Because quite frankly, I see it as this. Aston Villa need to win a trophy as soon as possible. And I am looking at the argument of competing versus winning. Unai Emery has set out and said Aston Villa, when he took over, he wanted to qualify for Europe and compete for major trophies. Well, that competing stage, when does competing stop and it becomes the winning phase? We're going to get into this one. As I said, this is all about your opinion, your view. Do you marry up and match up to what I feel, or are you feeling slightly different? Do you believe that Aston Villa are still in this process and we need to give it a few more years? Or are you looking at, as I am, that actually it's time to start winning trophies now? And the reason we talk about this and the reason we are saying this is off the back of Newcastle yesterday. Now, I did a watch-along build-up yesterday, and I said Newcastle winning the EFL Cup or the Carabao Cup is one of the worst things that could happen for Aston Villa. And the reason I say that is I don't necessarily think that Newcastle's win should inspire Villa. Absolutely should. But for me, it just changes the whole narrative. It basically now says Villa must go and match Newcastle. Because I'm going to show you something on the screen right now. And big up to everyone who's here watching, by the way. Make sure you smash a like on this stream. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, and I'll come to the comments in a second. But let's start off with the key fact right now. Let's start with the key fact right now. This is how long it's been since Aston Villa have won a trophy. It's right there. 28 years. 358 days, 28 years since Aston Villa have last won a major trophy. And as you can see, it was in 1996 when we beat Leeds 3-0 in the League Cup. 1996, the last time in which we won a major trophy. Now, we have been through some turbulent times. We've been through some rough times. We've had exactly that. We've been relegated. We've had a Dr. Tony Gia absolutely destroy and mess up our football club in terms of ownership and nearly put us into liquidation. We've had poor appointments in terms of managerials, in terms of likes of Remy Gard, Tim Sherwood, and you could even argue, to the point of Steven Gerrard was even much of a risk. And I just believe that when I put this on the screen right now, 28 days since not 28 days, I wish it was 28 days, 28 years since our major trophy, that now needs to close the gap. Because there is an argument now that Aston Villa is in the best position ever as a football club. We're in the best position we've ever been. We've got incredible owners. We've got incredible people alongside us who want to take this club in the right way. We've got an elite trophy winning manager. We've got the best squad available. We now need to start not competing for trophies, for winning it. And this season, we have found ourselves in the FA Cup quarterfinals as well as the Champions League quarterfinals. Two pieces of silverware that I promise you now, if Aston Villa went and won, we would be taken note of. I don't care what people say, whether it's the Carabao Cup or not, whether it's seen as not the biggest competition in Europe. It's the first domestic piece of silverware available for anyone. And therefore, it is always going to be a privilege to win that. And Newcastle United have broken the voodoo. Okay, so what's going to happen is Newcastle United now, for me, have an argument now to take over Tottenham's place in the top six. That's where we're at. Newcastle United could arguably make a massive bold claim and say, hey, do you know what? We've taken over Tottenham. We should be in the big six now, because Spurs' last trophy was 2008. And now, of course, Newcastle United was in 2025. There is now a cause for absolute change. There is a cause for absolute change in that. Do you believe that? Do you believe that a trophy almost elevates you into the next echelon of, hey, we're a big club? Because for Newcastle now, they could go win they've won the Carabao Cup. They could go qualify for the Champions League this season, and that is massive progress. What I've got to ask you in the chat right now, and anyone who's watching on replay, is this. If Villa don't win a trophy, if we don't qualify for Champions League or Europa League and end up in the Conference League, then have we not gone backwards? So do not disrespect the Carabao Cup. That's the first thing. I've seen too many people over the last sort of couple of days, well, not couple of days, since Newcastle have won, disrespect the Carabao Cup. As an Aston Villa fan, we would do anything to win that Carabao Cup. It's no mean feat as well, by the way. The teams they've had to lock out to get and win that is absolutely unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They've had to beat Man City. They've had to beat Arsenal over 2 legs. They've had to beat Liverpool. Teams who are in the top leagues, the top 4. So if anyone here is saying, look, it's only the Carabao Cup, please. And I've just seen Carl Bates say that because they won the Carabao Cup. A trophy is what you're measured on. Eddie Howe has never won a trophy. He's now achieved that with Newcastle. Newcastle waited 70 years to win a piece of silverware, and they were never going to be taken seriously. If Newcastle had kept qualifying for the Champions League 2 or 3 seasons in a row, people would have still gone, yeah, but your last piece of silverware, hey, that was 69 years ago. Newcastle is a winning club now. Aston Villa is a competing club. And that's where I really want to put this argument down to people. There is a difference between competing and then you've got to change to the next gear, which is winning. And I'm telling you now, I genuinely believe this. I believe Unai Emery is feeling the same as I am. I believe Unai Emery is not looking at, oh, but we're a project, as long as we're improving, as long as we're, getting more revenue in, as long as we're getting close. If you read Unai Emery's comments really clearly, Unai Emery has said this. When he took over at Villa, which is nearly 2.5 years ago, he was appointed to do the following: qualify for Europe and compete for trophies. That's when he took over. Unai Emery hasn't taken over Villa just to compete or qualify. He's here to win something. And if you as an Aston Villa fan right now are okay with Villa just qualifying and competing, then you've got to ask yourself, well, when are you going to start accepting winning? We have to start now. Newcastle and their new ownerships. You look at Newcastle, they've had new owners. They've had big investment. They've got big names in, and they've put their money and hopes into a manager in Eddie Howe. If Eddie Howe didn't qualify and didn't start winning trophies, there was going to be a conversation soon that Eddie Howe must go. Now, I'm not saying Unai Emery out. Please, no one take this as me saying Unai Emery out. I'm not. But what I am saying is, I promise you that energy that Unai Emery will have right now is he's just watched Newcastle do it, and they are supposed to have been like this with us. We're supposed to be level with Newcastle, on the same sort of trajectory, right? Well, Newcastle have just gone one further. Newcastle have just won something. So we are in a position of being in the FA Cup quarterfinals and the Champions League quarterfinals. You must be licking your lips right now as a Villa fan to say we've got a chance of winning some silverware. But I don't want. But we have to go and absolutely get to a final in one of them. I think that is now where the pedestal we're in. So I've done a lot of talking. I need to address the comments. Big up to the people who's in the chat. I have not forgotten you. Michael Huggins, big up. Big up to Piotr as well, my Polish legend. Big up to Fraser, of course, a Liverpool fan who's in here. And fair play for showing face. And I said Newcastle deserves it. Look. Michael is saying, I don't think we should be pressured to win something because of them, but we should be inspired. Now, inspired is definitely the word. But I do believe that being in the situation we are, right, or being in 2 trophies in quarterfinals, there has to be a little bit of pressure on ourselves now. As a football club, as players, as a fan base, let's go, come on, FA Cup, let's go win that now. My second point is, as well, if we go trophyless this season and trophyless next season, when does the conversation start opening up? Again, hold on, Unai's been here for 4 or 5 years. Where's the chance of winning a trophy? So there we go. Big up to Spicy Pricey in the house. Fraser believes Villa, the Champions League, FA Cup. I'm all about that. Spicy says it's about to change. Josh, I'm a believer, mate. Good old Ange. And look, I do believe that we are going to win a trophy this year, and that's why I'm putting that energy out there. Big up to Austin Peters, one of our members who's in the house. He says, even Josh and fellow villains. Big up to my mum and dad. Up the Villa says we need to win a trophy because Liverpool let Newcastle win. They'll bang about it forever. And that's the point. The Geordies will bang on about it because they've been in the wilderness for 70 years. They've known of being runners-up in finals. They have never been taken seriously by the likes of Manchester United or Arsenal or Liverpool as trophy winners, as people who you can take seriously of breaking into that top bracket because they haven't won anything. Big up to Western Nude. He says, I'm totally in agreement, Josh. The pressure's on Villa now to win the Cups. I 100% agree. And backing up by saying, a football club is judged on how many honours the club's won. Simple as that. Look, if you want to compare football clubs to players, I'll always go to this argument right now, and I will. Harry Kane will never be determined as a top player or world class or whatever bracket you want because everyone throws the same argument his way. What does everyone always say about Harry Kane? Hasn't won a trophy. Oh, but he scored all these goals. Oh, he's the top England goal scorer. Oh, he's close to being the all-time Premier League goal scorer. Yeah, but he's got no trophies. That's where the argument ends. Aston Villa can have a great manager in Unai Emery. We can have the best squad. We can be making loads of money. We can be at the top end and the progress is great. But the thing I'll say is, what if Unai ends his tenure with this amazing squad with no trophies? It's all for nothing. And so you have to realise that a manager is genuinely measured on his trophies. A manager is genuinely measured on his success. Eddie Howe would have absolutely crumbled. I can't have seen a Newcastle stem put with him if he hadn't won a trophy in the next year or two. So I do believe that this is our year for an FA Cup or a Champions League. I do believe there's a change in the tide, as Spicy Pricey said. I believe it is the times of the Newcastles, the Villas, the Forests to re-emerge. And let's not even joke about Tottenham because they're a joke. But for Villa and Newcastle, they have a real opportunity to overtake the likes of Spurs to be this big club. Spurs' last trophy, 2008. Villa's last trophy, 1996. Newcastle's last trophy, 2025. So I'll put this stat up on here again for you right now. 28 years, 358 days since Aston Villa last won a trophy. Now I'm going to show you something else. The consistency of breaking into a top team. Okay? Have a look at this is what I dug out here. Okay? Just going to load it up for you now. And big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you're smashing the like button at the stream. Love it already. 21 likes. You lot are absolutely smashing the support. I really do appreciate it. Okay. Hopefully you can all see this. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Can you all see that all I can on the screen or do it? There you go. We've got to get rid of that advert. Okay. So let's go to this thing here. Arsenal, FA Cup 2020. So Arsenal going 5 years without a trophy. That's sackable. That is sackable. Mikel Arteta should be sacked for going 5 years without a trophy. And don't you dare count a Community Shield. If anyone in this chat counts a Community Shield, then let me know. But don't you dare count a Community Shield as a trophy. It's a pre-season glorified friendly with a silver plate that no one takes seriously. And even Wembley and fans are getting fed up of going to the Community Shield. Man City fans were getting bored of going. At the end of the day, 5 years without a trophy, for me, Mikel Arteta, sackable offence. Will we see Mikel Arteta sacked this season? Quite frankly, I think so. That's Arsenal Football Club. That's Arsenal Football Club, who again are steeped and known as success of winning. Leicester City 2021, even though they're about to get relegated, Leicester City's FA Cup, they've won a trophy within the last 5 years. Chelsea, Champions League 2021. Again, why are Chelsea managers getting sacked all the time? Because they're not winning. They're not winning trophies. They're not bringing success to the football club. And that is, again, what you get judged on. Look at that. West Ham, Moisey, legacy. But West Ham, whether it's Conference League or not, it's a trophy, 2023. Liverpool, 2024. City. And do you know what the maddest bit is? Even dusty Man United. Even though Man United have been absolutely terrible, absolutely on a decline. Even in their worst spell, Eric Ten Hag could still win a trophy, which kept him in the job for this season, by the way. So if he doesn't win that FA Cup, he gets sacked. Trophies keep managers in jobs. Trophies breed success. And Aston Villa have gone 28 years without a trophy. We've now got into a position of rebuild. Bless you. Bless you. We've now got into a position of rebuild. We've now got into a position of, best manager, best squad we've ever assembled. And that's why I put it in the title, competing versus winning. Are we going to allow this season to be another season which we compete? Or are we actually going to come with a bit of chest, Villa fans, and say, hey, it's time to win? Because that's what I'm giving. I've been giving it on the platform Never a Foul. I've been saying to Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, I said, listen, Villa's year, we're going to win a trophy this year. And I'm saying it with chest, and you have to believe it. Big up to Harry, who said up the Villa. Big up to you. Carl Bates says, consistency is hard in the PSR era. Lots of teams have just finished top four before. Everton, Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, but struggle to stay there. It's hard, mate. So, Carl, again, you're talking about top four. That's not a trophy. And this, again, is a whole new debate after that as well, Carl, because I'm glad you said that. Because so many fans, and I think Tottenham fans have got stuck in this habit. I think even Arsenal fans, until recently, have got stuck into this habit because Arsene Wenger made them believe it. But finishing top four is as good as a trophy. Aston Villa to get Champions League football for money and revenue is like a trophy. Don't get me wrong, it is massive. But Unai Emery will not be remembered for a manager who's got Villa to a European semi-final, or maybe a European quarter-final, semi-final, but be trophyless. If he goes 5 years without a trophy, there's there. Why will Dean Smith people always be loved, remembered, adored in Villa history? Why? Because he brought us back to the Premier League, because he won a playoff final, because he won a piece of silverware that had not the merit of a domestic trophy, but it was enough. And I'm telling you, I think I do genuinely believe this. I do genuinely believe that Unai Emery will be feeling the same as I am. That if he does not win a trophy as Aston Villa manager, which is what he's set out to do, then he will see himself as a failure. He won't care about PSR. He won't care about, competing against the Sky Six, the Big Six. He will ultimately find it very, very hard. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Weston said, look at the back of the North Stand, all the cups that are paraded on it that Villa have won in history. Even that's showing everyone that's why the clubs are judged on. Exactly that. Exactly that. Why would you put that? Why have they not put, top four qualifications and stands? Why is it the talk about Liverpool was they were going to win their 11th League Cup? Why was the talk yesterday about 70 years Newcastle? I don't think the pressure is on to win a trophy. It's interesting. And that's what I said. The fan base is split. Big up to Plump Pilgrim. He said, the other good thing is the revenue our success bring in, a win-win. So, and look, I agree on this. This is what the Sky Sports era has done. Made top four better than winning trophies. 100%. The coverage of mainstream media football has made the idea of qualifying for Europe the ultimate. Look at what the FA Cup final has been turned into. A nothing occasion. I've even seen people tell me now that the FA Cup is not considered a big trophy in England. People actually think the likes of a Europa League is more important than an FA Cup. The steep tradition of an FA Cup is just absolutely incredible, and I cannot believe it's being ruined like that. It is a big trophy. And this is what could happen. If Villa go and win an FA Cup, you could get people from Spurs. You could get people from Arsenal. Well, Arsenal shouldn't, but you can get other fan bases who'll turn your nose up and say, hey, it's only the FA Cup. And you'll get that phrase, it's only the FA Cup. Premier League, Champions League and Europa League seem to be what fans now seem to have this arrogance to think is the only important trophy, or if you qualify for it. But but Champions League allow us to get big players. We can't attract the likes of Sensei with Conference League Europa. We don't have that pool. And I completely agree with that. That's why we have to be doing both. That's why we have to win a trophy and qualify for Champions League. I'm not ruling out the both. I don't think we should be in a position where we should be saying we're going for one or another. That's why I've been really annoyed with Aston Villa's sort of form in the Premier League, because top four was still there to be attainable, even top five. Yes, we're 3 points off Manchester City. Yes, we're 4 points off Chelsea. But the losses against Crystal Palace, the draws against Brighton, the draws at home that have cost us this season, where we've been in winning positions, West Ham as well, really poor results. We should be qualifying for Europe and winning a trophy side by side. We've built the squad now. We've built the squad to do that. We know we have. We've actually assembled a big enough squad, a good enough squad to be able to do both. Jeffrey Bungle says, nah, domestic clubs are wank, no one cares. Tell me last season which Spanish side won the equivalent on it. You probably can't because you don't care. No, but I can tell you who's won the last few FA Cups. I can tell you who's won the last few League Cups because I take note. I care about my domestic league. I care about my domestic trophies. I care about who I'm competing against. Trust me, I'm not going to forget that Newcastle United have won that Carabao Cup for a long time until Villa win a trophy. I'm not going to forget that. I'm also not going to forget that Leicester City won an FA Cup in 2021. We don't forget those things. We do not forget who won those trophies and when. So, yeah, we have assembled a big enough squad. We've assembled a good enough squad. It is now time, as I said, to compete and win on both fronts. Go and qualify for the Champions League, but go win a trophy at the same time. Go win a trophy at the same time. So there. So I want to know people's thoughts. Where do people genuinely think we're going further in? Where do people think we're going further? Is it the Champions League? Is it the FA Cup? We have Preston North End in the quarterfinals on the 30th, and we have PSG over 2 legs. Where I want to know your predictions right now. If I had to say to you, listen, fire away at me. Where do you see us in the FA Cup? Where do you see us in the Champions League? Are we exiting both rounds now? Are we winning the Champions League? We win the FA Cup? Are we semi-finalists? Where do you see it now? Personally, in my opinion, I see us getting to the final of the FA Cup, and I see us getting to the final of the Champions League. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to give chest about this. I'm actually going to give chest about this. I see Aston Villa getting to the final of both. I actually really do. Don't know what's making me feel that. I don't know why I'm feeling that, but I genuinely believe that we're going to get to the final of both competitions. We have to. We have to give ourselves a chance. And I just don't know why I'm feeling that much chest. I feel like this is the year. Newcastle have started the ball rolling. It's time for us now. Whether you want to feel inspired or pressured, it's time to knuckle up and win. And I think there was a picture of Unai Emery. And I'll just put that again on the screen for anyone who's joined. 1996, Villa, as you can see. Arsenal, Leicester, Chelsea, West Ham, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, and Newcastle have all won trophies now in the last 5 years. We need to join that group. We need to join that group. 100% we need to join that group. So, look, people don't get sidetracked about football being about making money. Don't get sidetracked about, that's the bigger picture. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. And this man, and look at this picture. I'm hoping ABFC 85 that Arsenal somehow pull off against Real Madrid and play them. But yeah, Villa Bayern final would be epic. Truthfully, if we beat PSG, then we win it. I genuinely think there's a possibility to do double. I like the optimism. FA Cup, I think Villa get to the finals. That's where I'm at, Carl, as well. Now look at this picture. This picture gives me chills. Look at this. Look at this from Unai. Warm weather training. What a picture that is. Fair play to the photographer. Give him a pay rise. You're telling me this man doesn't want to win trophies? You're telling me this man's okay for competing? You're telling me this man is going to be the nearly man? No. No. No, 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 no. If you're not seeing that change, if you've not got the energy that Villa now need to win and not compete, then you need to get elite mentality like this guy. Because I'm telling you now, the meticulous preparation, the details, the obsession, the levels of commitment. This guy does not just compete. He wins. End of. I'm going to get his bloody trophy record up now just to put it in one more time of where we're at. Calm down. Calm down. Okay. Unai Emery trophy record. Yeah? You want to know? You want to know what a serial winner is? Oh, why have I got that? Bloody cheers, Buff. Unai Emery. You want to know what this guy does? He wins trophies. Yeah, he does hate Crystal Palace. Big up to the dog who's just joined us in the thing as well. She's just getting comfy, ready for the trophy. So, you want to know what this guy does? He wins trophies. He won the league with PSG. That's why he's going to knock PSG out. Yeah? That's why he's going to knock PSG out. This guy wins trophies. Okay? Serial winner. 4 times Europa League winner. Now, I do not care if this is not the Champions League. If you know how to win in Europe over 2 legs and the quarterfinals and semi-finals and a final in 1 leg, then you know how to do it in the Champions League. There is a serious skill. There is a serious knack. There is a serious way. To do this, by the way, to win with Sevilla 3 years in a row, the Europa League is one of the most underrated achievements in world football. As a manager, to win that European competition 3 times in a row, in 3 seasons in a row, and no one be able to find you out is an unbelievable achievement. And then guess what? He goes to another Spanish club and does it again. Why can't my man do this now in the Champions League? He deserves it. Won the French Cup 2 years with, PSG. He won every domestic trophy he could with PSG twice. Simple as that. Okay? And that's where I want to look at. This guy wins trophies, whatever he touches. He's a serial winner. Serial winner. Okay? And the Champions League, this is his 6th season in the Champions League. It's time to bring home some magic. This guy loves it. This guy is bred for winning. And incredible. Yeah. And look at this statistic here. Average term as a coach, 2.16 years. Okay. So he absolutely has been about it. This dog's going nuts. So, Unai Emery. Oh, thanks, Dog. What's the dog there? He's a serial winner. Why were many Villa fans gassed when we got Emery? Because of the cups he won. Western Ood is spitting facts in the chats today. My guy. And as I said, people will be split on this topic. And I've seen it in the chat, and I'm not putting down anyone's opinion. I am just putting down the fact that there's got to be a time, Villa fans, where we stop being this little club mentality of, oh, it's nice to be in the champ. It's nice to be up there. Or it's nice to go far in a competition. Nice doesn't get you anywhere in football. Winning in football is what happens. Jose Mourinho will tell you that. Okay? We have to now be winners. And so I'm putting it out there. If not this season, then it has to be next season that we win something to close the gap. Because no way do I want to go 30 years without a trophy. No way do I want to hit 30 years without a trophy with the best squad that we've ever had. And there we go. So let's have a look at some of the other comments about Unai Emery's success. About Ty Emery won the Champions League is due that. One of the trophies that's eluded him. He's mastered the Europa League. It's time for him to upgrade. And do I believe that? Isn't it true that he got to the semi-finals of the Champions League with a really poor Villarreal side? Our Villa side is much better than that. Roy said, yeah, but to win it 3 times back-to-back, also he's got knocked out of the Champions League down to Europa, no? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they had that format back then, but that is a good point, but we'd need to know. Even still, God, I really agree. Even still, Villarreal is the one. Winning Europa League in the semi-final of Champions League, Villarreal are not a big club. Exactly that. Sevilla and Miles bigger than them. Yeah, but right, it's with teams like Sevilla and Villarreal, not European giants. Exactly. Villa are a bigger club than Sevilla and Villarreal. We've got more resources, we've got more money, and the squad is there. I actually think our January window, if we didn't have the January window that we have, I wouldn't be sat here with chest saying that we could go and compete for a trophy. Why I'm saying this is the following. Okay? If you play our strongest 11, now, whether you agree with the strongest 11 or not, but I'm going to give you some options now. Say we play Watkins, Rashford, Asensio, Rodgers as our front 4, with Tielemans and Kamara on the bench. And Tielemans and Kamara starting. So we go Tielemans, Kamara, Rodgers, Asensio, Rashford, Watkins. Listen to our squad depth, bench-wise. This is for the FA Cup. Because, of course, Donyell Marlin isn't included in the Champions League. But you're going to have John McGinn, Onana. You're going to have Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey. You're going to have Donyell Marlin, as well, by the way, if this is the FA Cup. But if it's the Champions League, you take Donyell Marlon out. Okay, so just those 4 names there. McGinn, Onana, Ramsey, Bailey. Locked in, 4 great options off the bench. Now let's talk about fullbacks quickly. Well, if Luca Dean starts, you've got Ian Matson. If Disasi starts, you've got Castro Garcia. If Vincent Constant starts, you've got Pau Torres on the bench. All of a sudden, Villa named 7 or 8 substitutes that you look at and you go, my gosh, what a bench we have. Any one of those players can come in and easily start. That's where Villa need to be at. And we've done that. Prior to January, we were nowhere near. Prior to January, we didn't have that luxury. Now we have a squad that should be able to go into a Champions League or FA Cup run and still push our league position and rotate. It's as simple as that. That's why we've done what we had to do in January. Jeffrey said, if we qualify, get 5th, that's a trophy equivalent almost. Getting 5th from the position win would be a massive statement. It's not a trophy though, Jeffrey. You can't say that's a trophy equivalent. It's not a trophy. It's a great achievement. If Villa were to qualify for the Champions League, it's another, thank you very much, Unai Emery. Elite work there, but it's not a trophy. Guess what? Newcastle fans didn't care about Eddie Howe qualifying for the Champions League 2 years ago. They got knocked out in the group stages. What Newcastle fans will remember Eddie Howe now for life will be that he won them the Carabao Cup on the 16th of March 2025. 70 years. There have been a whole generation of Newcastle fans who've never seen their team lift. There have been people in their close to retirement age, or if not retired, and never seen Newcastle lift a trophy. I'm 30 years old, 28 years since Villa have won a trophy. I was 2 years old. I do not remember Aston Villa at 2 years old. The only trophy I can ever say Villa won is the playoff final. It's not a trophy. It's not a trophy, really, is it? So, same with you guys. Villa and trophies, it used to be hand in hand prior to the 21st century. It's time to get back on track. Roy said it took Klopp 4 years to win at Liverpool. I completely agree on that. But guess what? Jurgen's time at Liverpool could have been cut short if he didn't win that trophy in that 4th year or 5th year. Trophies buy you time as a manager. Trophies buy you. And that is why West Ham sacking David Moyes is probably one of the biggest disgraces I've ever seen in football. For him to win them the Conference League and then go do that, it's one of the biggest insults. Eddie Howe's just bought himself another 2-3 years at Newcastle. Unai Emery will have the privilege as well. So there we go. But I'm going to wrap this stream up now. I believe, as I said, that it's time for Villa to win a trophy. If not this season, it's got to be next. We're in the best position possible in 2 quarterfinals of 2 cups with one of our strongest squads. Let's not have the mentality of just competing and it would be nice to get to a final. Let's believe now. Let's believe. I'm sure thinking that Unai Emery will as well. Here's our man. He's going to be the guy who takes us. You can see all those trophies he's won. It's time to add an FA Cup or a Champions League. And the one thing that will bother Unai Emery, he's never won a trophy in England. He failed at Arsenal. He does not want that label. Trust me. Unai Emery will not want that label that he cannot win a trophy in England. He's won it in Spain. He's won it in Europe. He's won it in France. He needs to win one in England. Was the trophy 20 years ago? Is the League Cup beat Leeds 3-0? Exactly that. What will happen if we don't? Unai Emery won't be on a job. If you want the truth of it, Unai Emery, I think, if he doesn't win a trophy in a couple of years, he'll ask himself, what's he doing? You just have to read Unai Emery's quotes to know that this guy has promised himself and the Villa board that he'll win a trophy and get Champions League football. I genuinely think that is the sort of standards that Unai has put on himself. If I don't win a trophy in the next couple of years, 5 years in, you probably need to sack me, is what he would probably say. And I love that from a manager. I love that from a manager who's got that confidence and saying, this is where I'm going. So Look, yeah, he needs a trophy. It's got to be done. It's the reason why we appointed him. Let this guy cook. And it's going to be a hell of a journey, Villa fans. This FA Cup and Champions League run is going to be so intense, but so bloody wonderful. AVFC said our next 7 league games: Brighton, Forest, Newcastle, Southampton, City, Fulham, Bournemouth. Perfect. Go on a decent run. We finished 4th. You know it. But no, I'm not saying to sack United this season, but I'm telling you, to be in a quarterfinal of 2 competitions this year, you set yourself up for more success. Really are. Really are. Silverware is coming. I love the belief. And thank you, Weston, for backing on that. And AVFC, no way we sack him if we don't win a trophy. If the team's doing well in qualifying in the regular, he'll be in a job. And that's where you'll get more pressure from me then over the next year or 2 as a content creator. If Unai Emery goes without this season and we end next season without a trophy, my next question is, where are we going as a club? Are we just looking to qualify for Europe each year? Or are we more than that? You saw how angry Villa fans have been when we've blown the FA Cup the last 3 or 4 years, getting knocked out in the 3rd round. We blew the League Cup as well, already going weak against Crystal Palace. It's a matter of time now, as Spicy saying, that Silverware's coming. Let's grab it by the horns, let's take it, and let's get over the line. Big up to everyone. I've enjoyed that. As I said, this Wednesday, Luke Robinson and I will be back on your screens. We'll be doing a joint discussion, a joint talk, like we did last time. That's locked in for Wednesday, 8 p.m. So make sure you check that one out. And then, of course, we've got England stuff coming around the corner. We'll be doing a watch-along on Friday for England. Thomas Tuchel's Barmy Army and all that jazz. So, yeah, we do miss Villa, but we'll always get Villa conversations going as we can. But, yeah. Big up to Spicy Pricey, big up to Frosty, AVFC 85, Roy, Weston, Jeffrey, big up to Brum Pilgrim, big up to everyone who's either been sat here listening, Carl Bates, or joined in the chat. I appreciate it. Big up to Melinda, big up to Heidi, big up to Star, big up to Puffy. We're going to chill out now for the rest of the evening. I hope you guys are well. I'll see you all very soon. Much love. Up the bloody Villa. Make sure you smash a like on the way out. And if you do have anything you want to put it in the comments after the stream. I'll definitely read it. Or any other sentiment, put it in the comments after this one. You lot are a bunch of legends. Much love. Michael Huggins as well. I'm out of here. Ta-da.